Now, for you blues enthusiasts, as well as you rock enthusiasts in the classic rock realm, we've got a hybrid scale that Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Santana have used. It's called A minor pentatonic natural 6. The notes in A minor pentatonic natural 6 are A, C, D, E, and F sharp. A is the root, C is the flatted third, D is the fourth, E is the fifth, and F sharp is the sixth. Let's begin. First position. Once more. Next box. Next box. Next box. And last box. I want to talk a little bit about master chords before we conclude this chapter in terms of these pentatonics. If you play A minor pentatonic, that's the master chord you're playing. It's an A minor 11 kind of sound without the ninth. If you're playing A major pentatonic, you're playing kind of like an A major 6 kind of sound. And if you're playing A minor pentatonic natural 6, you're playing a minor 6 kind of sound or a D9. It's actually like a D9 arpeggio. So you could use it over a 4 chord in a blues. Let's say in an A blues, you could play minor pentatonic or major pentatonic or the blues scale. And then for the D chord, the 4 chord, you can use minor pentatonic natural 6. Give that a shot sometime. This concludes our chapter on pentatonics. Welcome to our chapter, and I think our most important chapter in terms of the scales, speed development and learning how to practice and play efficiently. We're going to start with our page packet that says speed development, and I've written some notes that talks about it, like understanding obstacles. So I'm going to read it out loud, and I'm going to kind of explain it as we go. In order to play quickly and accurately, one must have to understand certain obstacles. Number 1, One's playing is constantly evolving. Therefore, you have to try to make what you play seem effortless. You, the player, have to learn to play the guitar as opposed to work the guitar. This involves playing as loose and relaxed as possible and understanding the physical mechanics of the hand and body. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of things. When you were a beginner, you'd have a hard time playing a D chord, and you probably squeezed too hard. As you evolved into an intermediate player, the D chord became easier, but then other chords became more difficult, like major 7s or 13th chords or 11th chords, etc. And you had to relearn how to do those chords, and you had to learn how to loosen up a little bit and learn how to develop speed with hammer-ons and pull-offs. You know, as you progressed further, you realized you really didn't need to squeeze as hard as you did when you were a beginner. That is what I'm talking about. As a player, you're constantly evolving, and that's what I mean by that. When you don't have to think about a D chord when you play it anymore. You probably don't have to think of a pentatonic scale if you know it very well. Well, that's the goal. With all of these scales and all these chords and tunes, you should get to the point where you don't have to think about doing it. When you don't have to think about doing it, you know it. That's the key for that. And that's what number 1 is talking about. Proper physical mechanics of the guitar we'll be talking about pretty soon after I mention these other notes. Number 2, this one's very important. Speed does not come by forcing it with repetition. If you do this without the proper checks and balances in place, you could suffer an injury or worse. You can sustain permanent damage. I've seen a lot of musicians in music schools and professionals try to force things instead of trying to find the reason why they can't do certain things like playing fast. And they wind up hurting themselves. I want you to understand that if you're playing guitar and it hurts, don't do it. You're doing something wrong and you should seek a professional. That way that person can look at your hands and decide what needs to be done to take you to the next step. A video lesson's good. It's great actually, because you can see my hands. You can see my hands are relaxed, and I want you to be able to do the same. So once again, if you're playing something and it hurts, stop. If you're going to be working on something like speed, do it in short bursts, 10-15 minutes tops, and then leave the guitar alone. It's a very important thing to do, because you're going to have to learn how to relax. Most people have a lot of issues with right and left hand, which we'll be covering later on. Number 3, when something doesn't come to you after a period of time, you must accept the fact that you're doing something wrong. And you must correct that bad habit in order to continue the progress further. That's what I mean. If you feel like you're topped out at 120 on the metronome and you want to get to 200 with 16th notes, you're doing something wrong, okay? And the only way to correct that is by stopping what you're doing and start thinking about, okay, what am I doing wrong? Am I playing too tight? Is my right hand too tense? Is my left hand too tense? Am I squeezing the guitar too hard? Is the action on my guitar too high? Is the guitar placed correctly on my body? All of those factors will take speed away from you, as you will see in the upcoming chapter.